Hey everybody, it's Sean and Trey with Reactions to the Classics. Before we get started today, we just wanted to invite you to take a look at our Patreon page where we have all kinds of reward tiers, anywhere from reacting to an entire album to songs, and to support us for as little as $1 a month. It really helps us out.
And you can also check out our Facebook and Discord groups down below. Got a great community of people who love music. And all that to say, y'all, let's get to today's video. What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined again by my dad, Sean, and we better get ready to kind of dance today because we got the Bee Gees, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at their record MainCourse, and this comes courtesy of our supporter, our dude Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew.
As always, Matthew, appreciate it, giving us a nice eclectic mix.
He really has given us a great mix of things that I've never heard.
And I wasn't familiar with any of these tunes on here, so it was fun
for me.
Fun to get in and get rocking. But before we get to the tunes, let's get into the quick facts.
It was their 13th studio album, released in the summer of 1975. Only went to number 14 on the US charts, but it's a landmark album for the fact that this is where their sound starts to change. So it was the first time that they had mostly funk-influenced songs. And the way that happened, they were working with Atlantic producer Arif, I'm not sure how to say his name, Mardin, who also produced their previous album. They went to Miami. Their music became much more influenced by dance music, primarily the Caribbean-style disco, being produced in Miami at the time. And it also featured, and we'll get into the story, the first time, prominently, Barry Gibb, falsetto, which is what I'm familiar with later on down the line.
Yeah, and we had some more technological advancements, some synthesizers came into play, dual bass lines, which they really started to experiment with after Blue Weaver. Talk about a great name.
What a fantastic.
He came in with that dual bass line on a demo of Jive Talkin. The group enjoyed it. Kind of where we get the start here, and obviously later on they really go full bore into that after this. And I think that about covers the quick facts. So we're going to start off with a bit of a tune that's a bit of a mix. It has a little throwback to the psychedelic type of tunes, and then also looks ahead to what what they really became famous for with the kind of funk and boogie with Nights on Broadway. It was a single, actually had some decent success.
Yeah, went to number 7 in the US, was their second single off this album. This is where their producer asked if one of the Bee Gees could do some screamy during the main chorus to make the song sound more exciting. In response, Barry began singing higher and higher, eventually singing in a falsetto that was unexpectedly powerful. He had never known he had such an ability, and obviously it became a trademark for them, although Maurice had been harmonizing in falsetto for years. That part of it just makes the song iconic in itself. She had left him, but he still loves her and holds out hope they will be together again, even though she has seen other guys. So I'm going to say, Barry, just let this thing go, brother. She's seeing other guys. This is one of my favorite songs on here. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was a solid song, and then we got to that kind of that second chorus where Barry hits that falsetto. I was like, okay, now we're talking. And then in the bridge, we had a little throwback to a little bit of a psychedelic twinge in there. I thought that was a unique touch. Very well arranged, one of my favorites. And then we go to another bigger hit off this record.
Yeah, went to number 1 in the US, top 5 in the UK, first single. And
Jive Talkin,
a song that I very much knew. Yes, Jive Talkin is on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. I didn't know it was on something before then. I was 4 years old when this came out, so this is the only song I was familiar with. But man, I know that Jive Talkin.
Oh man, look at that! You got that.
I can get there.
Maybe
man, if I have to,
we can harmonize.
Maybe on a live stream one night, I'll try to bust out. You know, it gets better the more I do it.
Yeah, it had that synth bass in there. I think that really gave it that pizzazz that the song really kind of benefited from.
Yeah, and it was first called Drive Talking, which I just was amused. I can't imagine being Drive Talking, because Jive Talking is what it's all about. But it was called Drive Talking because it was modeled after the sound the car made crossing the highway every day from their house to the Miami studio. It is a stuttering song, like You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, The Who's My Generation, David Bowie's Changes, Elton's Benny and the Jets.
I didn't like it as much as the opener.
I didn't either, but I mean, I was very familiar with it.
And I thought the almost whispered vocals with that, that funky synth bass really worked well and in its favor.
Yeah, and I think Jive Talkin is obviously a 70s vernacular, but I liked it because I never knew what the song was about. I just knew the song. because he doesn't believe a word that this woman says. It's all jive talking. She's just running her mouth, but he doesn't believe any of it because she lies. So I thought that part of it was pretty cool. That's going to take us to
Wind of Change. Things haven't gone like our protagonist thought it would. He references another who's kind of in his same boat, but he urges both of them to look up and around because the wind of change is coming and it will get better. I enjoy the line, when it comes to broken dreams, you'll get your share. Again, we had a very prominent bass, nice R&B type of feel to it.
Much funkier, some brass in here.
I thought it had the best message up to this point, and I thought they were 3 for 3 up to this point.
Yeah, this song I don't like nearly as much as I like the previous two. For me, it was kind of so-so, but the songwriting is very good. And speaking of songwriting, we're going to go to Songbird. And the Songbird referred to as he in one verse has been hurt, wings broken. The singer is encouraging him to continue on and it will get better. Only has a chorus, post-chorus, and an outro. It starts with the vocal immediately with the piano in there. I thought that was a nice touch. Very stripped back.
Yeah, it was a bit of a preview because we had a lot of slower type of ballad tunes on the B-side.
Yes.
So it was kind of a preview to that. A little bit of a continuation of theme from Wind of Change to kind of get up, dust yourself off, and keep on going. I like the strings in there as well, just for a little differentiation on this A side. And then we finish off this A side with
Fanny, Be Tender With My Loves. Actually, the third single went to 12 in the US. They were writing this song while they were living in their rental in Miami. They had a housekeeper named Fanny, so when they were looking for a name, they looked over, saw her, and said, why don't we go with Fanny?
Yeah, and they actually never performed this song live because the harmonies are so intricate, and I think they're some of the best harmonies on this record.
I do too.
And essentially the guy really only has his love, so he wants it to be protected. Hopefully Fanny will come through with him. Great way to end this A-side.
Agree 100%. A-side was outstanding. I don't like the B-side anywhere close to the level I like the A-side.
Same here.
We're going to start off with side 2 with All This Making Love. Barry and Robin alternate vocals on this, so I like that. This song stays a bit closer with the Bee Gees have been putting out the previous 4 years, although it's a bit more upbeat, more hardcore on the vocal delivery, more powerful, different sound. For me, it was okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. There was an incessant piano that almost kind of built tension. It wasn't particularly my thing instrumentally, and as you look at the lyrics, I mean, maybe is the guy just worn out from making love too much and his woman's driving him crazy?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I don't think they put a lot of time into the songwriting.
I kind of thought that was comical if that was the case.
I did too.
Making too much love.
We come into a more chilled song, Country Lanes. It's different. He's in love with her, but I think they aren't together, Trey. It's a little hard for me to tell from the lyrics.
Yeah, this was a bit more almost yacht rock-ish with the piano ballad and soft vocal delivery. I'm usually not a huge fan of that genre and kind of the AOR, and that's what we got a lot on this B-side. So that's probably not... that's probably the reason I didn't like it as much as that A-side. Strings were solid, though. Your mileage might vary a little bit on this one.
Yeah, and now we're going to go to Come On Over, which is actually a #1 hit on the adult contemporary charts for another artist, Olivia Newton-John, which if you're of my age, born in 71, she might have been one of your first crushes back in the day, but she hit #1 with it. For the Bee Gees version, I think this is a pretty good song, one of the highlights of the B-sides. A little country tinged,
yeah, and
good.
Essentially he's telling this woman to come on over because she makes him feel better every time she does. So it was a bit similar to Country Lanes.
It was. I thought it was better though. For me.
It was at this point though. I kind of wanted us to get back into that little funk type of sound,
the side A stuff.
Yeah, and we did a little bit here. We had a bit more prominent synthesizer on our next tune, Edge of the Universe. A bit of some eclectic lyrics here.
To say the least.
He's talking, he's kind of brought his dog up to this point. And possibly, I think you could read it as maybe a drug trip or a near-death experience. I thought this was one of the better ones on this B-side.
Yeah, I really have no idea what it's about. I read the lyrics several times. It's over 5 minutes long. Sounds a little space age as you would think it would in parts. I actually did like the song, even though I have no idea what it's about. And we're going to finish this off with Baby As You Turn Away. We have great harmonies on this. He's staying true to his love for her, even though she has left. So if I could transport myself to 75, it's the second song anyway. Man, you got to let it go, man. If she's gone, just let her go and move on.
Yeah, you got to look And kind of like they were saying in the first side, get up, dust yourself off. It was interesting. This was the only dual Barry and Maurice song on the record. Again, a little bit more of an acoustic feel, though we did have the synthesizer strings. I thought it was a solid way to end off the record, and that's going to take us to our favorite tracks. I'm going to go with Wind of Change and Nights of Broadway.
Yeah, I'm going Nights on Broadway and Fanny. Now we get to our overall grade trade. I think this is a tale of two albums, and it should be in a way, because this is their transition album from what they were into what they're gonna be, which is the Bee Gees that I know. You know, the Saturday Night Fever and the huge How Deep Is Your Love and all of that stuff. So it's kind of the transition, and in that, it's a transition on the album. You can see them, and you mentioned it. You wish there were more funky stuff on side B. So side A for me is outstanding. Side B is average for me at best, probably a little below average. So I'm going to go with the 7 out of 10.
I have a lot of the same thoughts that you do. I'm right there with you at a 7 out of 10. I still thought it was an overall really solid record.
I did too. Good musicianship, great vocalist.
Yeah, because the harmonies in here are just fantastic if you know anything about the Bee Gees. I think, though it has that 70s kind of funky synth feel, it doesn't sound outdated like some other stuff in the genre kind of does in 2020. So I give them props for that. Just that B-side for me as well was a little weak, but A-side was strong enough to pull that rating up. So 7 out of 10 here, man. Let us know what you think of MainCourse down in the comments section below. As always, Dad, appreciate the research, man. Love diving into the Bee Gees a little bit here. Shout out to our dude Matthew as well for bringing us this suggestion. And be sure to give us a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.